So in this video, we're going to talk about where to place your stop loss. A lot of people ask me that all the time, frequently. New traders mostly, where do I place my stop loss? Um, Ultimately, to be honest with you, there is no correct place to place a stop loss because there are so many things that a trader can. It's up to the trader's discretion where he or she wants to put a stop loss. So what I mean by that is, let's say entering on this here. Let's say, and right now, just to let you know, we're talking about a trend continuation entry. Basically, when you talk about traders who are entering on a pullback or retracement, okay. So let's say that a trader was aware of this trend here. They were aware of this trend here. See this A here, and then they noticed that there was a new structure high. We just need to walk through this real quick. We see there was a new structure high, higher close versus this guy here. Right. Okay. So that's kind of giving him almost what he needs to know. Hey, I got a new high. I got a pullback. And then he says, oh, wow. I got to pull back to the 618 golden ratio. Right. Right. So that's going to, that's going to be probably considered a high probability trade for that trader. And I can tell you it is because I'm in it. I've been in this thing, for the past several days. This is NVIDIA. It's a long shot on NVIDIA. So traders like, okay, yeah, I want to enter right there. He's got all that stuff right. Maybe he could be a little bit more oversold on RSI, maybe. But this still might be enough. It's not extremely oversold, but that, like, you want it to be under 20 in this case. This was 24. The lowest over on the RSI was 24. That might be okay. It was okay for me. All right. So getting long. So knowing that they're getting long, you want to be able to protect your capital in case, of course, something goes sideways and market goes against you. You need to protect your capital so that you don't blow your account. You definitely need to make sure that you never enter any trade, any market, any instrument without a stop loss. So I did want to add that. But the first method that we want to talk about is the ATR-based stop. Now that is the most complicated of all the stops, but I'm going to try to simplify it for you. It is not that hard, okay? In this example here, and you guys will be able to use this going forward, okay? In this example here, all you need is the lowest price of the wick where that stopped your pullback, okay? So in that case here, right up under this wick here, okay, that's the lowest price. So you need, like I said, you need two prices. You need that, which in that case is 112.98. Probably just round it up and just call it 13, okay? So that's the first thing you need is the price of the pullback at the wick. All right, write that down. I'll do it for you guys. Number one, you need price of the wick at the pullback, okay? Number two, you need ATR of the wick at the pullback. I hate using that word. Sorry, people. Okay. So, you have your price here because you basically just take your line tool and line it off. It's going to give you the price. Okay. 112.98. You can make that even 113. Forget the 2 pennies. Okay. Make that 113. And then you need the ATR of where the wick was. So you're going to look to the right, bring on your object tree window. This is all built into TradingView. Bam, bring on your object tree window. Then go bring on the ATR indicator. So go to your indicators and choose average true range. Now, remember, I said that I had mines matching my RSI. So I don't use the out of the box RSI. I use an 80 overbought and a 20. The out of the box is 70 and 30. I use 80 and 20 because those are more extreme. So I'm getting a better indication of when price is overbought or oversold. So that's why I use 80-20. And I use the length, I use a 7 period. The out of the box is 14. I don't need to go way back there. I need to see what's happening now. So I use an 80-20 overbought, oversold setting, and I use a 7 period RSI. Those things are going to help you with your entry when you're looking for your overbought, oversold, and divergent conditions. But what I was saying is I pair my ATR I match it with RSI. So I'm using a 7 period ATR, if you notice here. Okay, I had to go through that part. Anyway, so we have our price of the wick on the pullback. Okay, this is not as complicated as people have tried to make it seem, and for some reason people can't explain a lot of this stuff and just simplify it. So the 112.98 and then the ATR of that wick. Okay, so remember, we brought on the data so that we could see the ATR section. It's automatically going to put that in there for you. So line off the wick price. It's going to tell you that, and then go hover over the candle and look to the data. We see 860 on the ATR side over here. We see 860. Okay, so the stop has to obviously be under it. So we're just going to grab our calculator, and we're going to take our 113. We basically called it 113 because it was 112, but we just went ahead and added to 2 pennies. So we're going to take our 113 and we're going to subtract that 860. $8.60 from it, and it's going to tell us to go to 104.4 for the stop on here. 104.4, you could round it up, make it 104.50. Okay, these things you have absolute control of. If you don't need to go 104.40, you can if you want. So we're going to use the 104.40. So we're just going to double click on our line that got us our price, and we're going to put in 104.40, and that's where it's going to tell you to put the stop loss at. Okay, so I move this out the way, and that's not too steep. That's about what that should look like. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. I hope you guys got that, and I'm gonna close the data window. All right, so that's what that would look like. Okay, so this is the room that we're giving the trade with the volatility. We're giving it room to breathe, okay? Because just because it hit 618 don't mean it can't keep going. So you got to give it space to breathe before it turns around and then moves into your bias, as we saw it's happening here, okay? So take a screenshot of it, keep that. Everything is there, all right? Identifying your entry, okay? Knowing that you're coming in off that 618, getting the price of the wick, and then getting the ATR of the wick. And in this case, subtracting. If we were going long, if we were going the other way, we'd be adding. All right, so it's a plus or minus. All right, so let me see if I can do this for you real quick. I want to add one more thing to this. Try to keep things kind of clean if possible, but no, that didn't work. Here's what I want you to know. See if this works. Okay. Here's what I want you to know, if possible. Okay. This is, that's not quite right like I wanted. So anyway, I'm going to talk about the second way right now. I was going to put some more notes on there, but I want to talk about the second way. The second way, okay, is using a Fibonacci for the stop. And in this case, it's going to be 113 fib extension. So basically looking at this right here, and you will probably see these two line up with each other, but let's find out. The second way would be the 113 Fibonacci extension. So extending from, basically in this case, is the B to C leg, or this high to this low. Okay, so this high to this wick. So grabbing the extension tool and starting from where B is and coming down to the wick at C, and only using the 113. And only using the 113 extension. Okay, so it's right there. So it's even tighter than the one that we did with our ATR-based stop. And that'll be up to the trader. Now if these two are confluent, meaning overlapping with each other, that's even better. So you can use the fib as a filter to go with your ATR-based stop to try to see if they're lining up over each other, and then you're perfect. Using the fib, this might tell here. The problem with this is this might convince a trader to, well, this is a good stop. It's a little tighter. I don't have to risk as much, and I can just trade. I get stopped out there. But what if you do get stopped at the 113? What if it doesn't hold? You'll probably wish, like, what if it doesn't hold and it came just short of the ATR-based stop? You'll probably wish that you just went with the ATR-based stop. But again, that's why at the beginning of the video, I expressed that it's really up to The trader is at his discretion. Some people can say, hey, you know what? I'm just putting it right under the wick. And if price action doesn't move, I don't want the trade. That's a trader's choice. Okay. So I wanted to show an example of what it would look like using ATR and the 113 on trend continuation, or what they like to call pullback entries. And then I also want to show what that would look like stops for advanced patterns. Okay. So the advanced pattern is a little bit different because your stops need to be under X. It's a little bit different than a pullback, even though we kind of are trading a pullback. We're countering the market. So it's kind of like the same thing. We're countering. So the advanced patterns are counter trend trading opportunities. All right. So I will probably be taking this bullish Gartley pattern on Wolf when the market opens, but I need to know where my stop is. So this is actually a perfect example because you can see it being filled. So it'd be the same thing. I'm just going to move this leg out the way so we can see. And it's going to be the same principle where I'm going to get the price of the wick. I'm going to get the price of the wick, the lowest part, which was the X leg, right? So on an advanced pattern, you want, and a lot of people don't know where to put their stops on advanced pattern, so this will help. So getting the price of the X leg, which is, in this case, it's 466. And then also, so I'll write this down. Number one, get price of wick at X leg. And number two, get ATR of price at X leg. Okay, so the price is 466 on the wick right there. I hope that's not too small for people looking at this on phones, right? 466 on the wick, the lowest part. This is X right here, the beginning of X, that impulse. And then the ATR of that candle, right? The ATR. So again, go to the data box to the side, grab the data box, go to your indicators and get your ATR. And then go hover over that candle and you'll see the ATR is 0.1429. So grab the calculator, and then type in 466. Do we want to kind of round that a little bit, make it 470? We'll make it 470. 4.70. And in this case, we're going to subtract again because it's below it. So that minus, what was our number on the ATR? 0.1429. 0.1429. It's going to tell us to put our stop loss at 455. So grab our line that we started with to get our price and put it at 455. Just type in 455 and it's going to be right there. So that's where the stop is going to be. Did everybody get that? I hope so. Leave a comment. Let me know if you got that. Pretty simple. All we did was we lined off of X, the beginning of our impulse. We lined off of X, which was 466, and we subtracted the ATR of the candle where the X started, which was 1429. You can see that to the right side on the RSI over here. All we did is subtract those, and we subtracted those. We got 455. We took the same line that we used to line off of our price, and we put it in there, 4.55, and it automatically will put the line in place for us. So we would know that if we were also using the long tool and we suggested that we were going to enter when the Gartley pattern completed at 510, we would know that the stop would go right there. Okay, so we know that that's how our trade would look, giving us a nice better than a 2-to-1. Okay, that brings us to the third method. So we covered 113s. Well, we're gonna do a 113 for this one too. We're gonna do a 113 because it works on this too, and it would be on the A to X leg. So it's actually an inversion in this case. Okay. So I'm just going to move him out the way because I can always put that back. All right, so it's going to be an inversion of A to X. So the first method we covered was the ATR-based stop. The second one that we're going to cover, we covered the 113 extension. This time we're going to use an inversion because it needs to be under X. So A to X and coming in with our 113, and it's right there. It's right down here. So in this case, the 113 looks to be a little bit steeper. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's steeper. You see how the 113 was too tight on the trend continuation example. The 113 was a little tighter, and the ATR-based stop offers more room. On this example here, the 113 is way more than our 455 we had here using ATR. So in this case, the trader might want to go ahead and go, I don't know, he might want to take he might want to take the 113 on this one. It's going to give it more room, but this pattern already has a lot of room. So like I said, it's up to the trader. There is no right one. It's up to the trader. The cold part about it is one can lose and the other one would have been the right way. So it could leave you in a little bit of a guessing game. I would say my suggestion would be to take the least aggressive one. Meaning in this case, the 113 might be the better way to go because you're not giving this Gartley a lot of room. You're coming right up under X. You're fitting the requirement that your stop is under X, but you're not giving, it might need that extra space. In this case, it'd be the 113. Okay, so ATR-based stops, 113 extensions and inversions. And the last thing, you guys already saw me do it, is that TradingView has a built-in indicator with a stop loss, and that's their long short tools, long position, short position. So you can find those up under these projection sections. I think, where was it? Yeah. I have them start off, but under the projection section, you see long and short position. Just start those off, so you can start putting your favorites at the top, the things that you'll trade with most commonly. I use, of course, the advanced patterns, the XABCD, the cipher pattern, head and shoulders, another video coming later, fib retracement, fib extension, my arrows, text so I can type with you guys, box stuff off, long and short tools, and some arrows. So and here it would be the long position. So to make it easy, they've made it easy. A trader really doesn't have to do anything. He can simply grab, in this case going long, he can grab his long tool and just place it where he's at, and it's going to give you it's going to just give you a 1-to-1. It's not going to do any calculations. See, that's the problem with it. It's not really a problem. It's giving you a 1-to-1. But for a trader who is, doesn't really know where to put it, like you might have to come look at a video like this to see stop losses that might be a little bit more appropriate for your trade. I'll say that. I don't want to say better or right or correct. I'm trying to stay away from that. But this will give you a 1-to-1 at least. So that's the third way, is to just use TradingViews, and then you can always adjust this and put it where you want. You guys have saw me bring it up like that, and that's good. And especially when you get to where you get things like looking for a 2-to-1. So in this case, I'm at 2-to-4. So here you're not giving yourself that much. You're a little bit more than 1-to-1, 1-to-5 here. So this does give you a 2-to-1 example. If long on this Gartley pattern and looking for targets that are a 618 retracement of A to D. So ATR 113 and the TradingView tool. So that's 3 ways. Another one, I don't really care for it, and they refer to it as basically pips. Like, you'll hear something like 10 or 20 pips. I don't recommend doing that, because there's really nothing about 10 or 20 pips. Like, what does that even mean? Unless that's all you're willing to risk. But really, I think that ATR-based stops or the 113, one of those two will be the way to go. So we talked about it in trend continuation, where we got the price and then we subtracted the ATR of the wick. And then that gave us that 104. That looks pretty good. We also compared that with a 113 extension of A to C, or the end of the wick. And that came down and put us there. And it kind of gave us a range. In this case, I would prefer to just use I wouldn't use the 113 on that. But another trader might say, hey, I don't want to go way down here. I'm not willing to risk that. let's look at another one right here. This is a bearish example. So the difference between this one here, I'm take this off, I'll put it back. The difference here is this is of course, this is a winning crab pattern. We see how price action rolled over. The trader would have been in this trade and would have needed to have a stop loss that would have protected him. While, remember I said, the market needs time to slow down. Okay, it's got to make a curve. Like even to go up here, he had to go, slow down, come up this way, come flying down, slow down, and go the other way. Same thing happened here. Market had to slow down. So while that's happening, the trader is going to have to make sure that his trade, it's a beautiful trade, a beautiful opportunity, and he's got to make sure that it's protected. Okay. Look at how, remember I talked about high probability. This is a very, very high probability setup as the advanced crab pattern is. It's a very high probability trade. If you don't know, if you want to know more about it, go look at the advanced crab video in the playlist. And this is why I love it so much. It does stuff like that. A little bit of static, not too bad. But let's talk about its stops and targets. So of course it's going to, as the trade is coming up, and then the trader is ready right here when he gets his red candle to enter, right? He's ready on that red. So you need wick at that red. All right. So you guys are going to have to also be used to zooming in. So he needs wick at that red. So remember, it's going to be the same concept, okay, of one, get price. Get price of, what do I want to call that? Completing candle. Okay. 2, get ATR of entry candle. Okay. So let's just walk through that real fast. Oops, come on, let me move you out the way. Okay, let's walk through that real quick. And it's going to be the same stuff. You guys can see ATR-based stops are pretty cool. So we want to take a line, and put him on the wick of the entry candle, right? And it's basically 303. All right, 303. And then we want the ATR of that candle. So the wick was 303, 303.12. Let's round it up. Let's make it 303.15. And then the ATR, go grab the data box and bring our ATR on. I'm going to take RSI off so we can have a little bit more space. Remove. All right. And we needed ATR of that candle, which was 405. 405. So grabbing our calculator, we needed our price, which is 303. So we're going to round up and make it 303.15. 303.15. And in this case, we're adding because it's above it. It needs to go above this price action. So 303.15 plus, what did we say the ATR was? 405. 4.05 says put it at 307.20. So take the line and put it at 307.20. It's probably going to be close. What happened? Hang on. 307.20. And look at that. That would have got stopped out by pennies. And that's a pretty high stop on that, you know, especially for a trade that won. But hey, it is what it is. You know, there's unfortunately no way around that one. No way around that one. The only other thing would make an adjustment and said, let's say we were taking the height of the candle, not the low wick of it. Taking the height of it is 307.48. The only other thing to do is take the 307.48, the top wick. You can look at it like that. Like I said, it's at your discretion to formulate it. Take it 307, make it even. Take the 48 cent off. No, it would have been 307 even, right? Plus, what was it, 4.05? And then said 311.05. And then taking this line here and making it 311.05. 311 even, I guess. Forget yeah. And then it would have lived. So normally you can just take the ATR where that candle is, the wick of that candle normally. But in this case, if that would have been too tight, sadly. And then this one here would have needed more room to breathe. Right. So You can, like I said, you guys can play around with that. I would suggest, based on this example here, I would suggest to take the top wick of it. I always use the lower part. You can take the top of it. The choice is yours, depending on how much space you think you need. This one needed a couple of more cents, which was crazy for a trade that reacted like that. Or if we're going to do one more and then we'll get out of here. If we were getting ready, so this is Tesla. This is Tesla. It's coming soon. For all the people who have been crying about getting their butts kicked all week. Oh my God, the market's crashing. No, the market's not crashing. He wants to come give you this Gartley. See, now he's oversold if you look at RSI. The people were crying. No, nothing. The world's not coming to an end. Elon Musk is not causing you to lose money. Tesla wants to come get this Gartley pattern. That's how these things work. Anyway, let me get off my bias. Anyway, it basically be the same thing. Even if we don't have the entry yet, a person can say, okay, I'm going to take that trade. I need to know where to put my stop loss. So again, and you guys saw us walk through this before, but that was one that was already completed. This time we'll be able to set up, and then we'll probably be able to come back and review what happened to Tesla's Gartley sometime tomorrow. This will probably be filled in the morning, but we will be able to talk about it. And then again, it is, let me move his leg out the way. It is, what was the price at X? What was the price at X? And the price was 309.53. What is the ATR of the price at X? Get the data. Go get ATR. And the price on ATR is 1427. 1427. So 309.50. 309.50 minus 1430. I guess I'll make it even numbers. And it says 295.20. Make this 295.20. 295.20, and that's where the stop goes. So if we put this bad boy back together, I don't remember where his X leg was. Was it here or here? I don't remember. I don't remember where his X leg was. Okay, it was the other side. It was here. So that's where the stop would be. Turn the data off. Take the ATR off. Don't need that there. And then that would give it, that looks like a very decent amount of room to breathe. And then grabbing the long tool and then putting the long tool on there. Oops, that's wrong. The entry is right here. The entry is right here when the D leg completes. The entry would be right here. And then grabbing the long tool and saying that if I get long on this Gartley, I need to stop right here. Pretty good, and looks like what could be a 2-to-1, but then you would need the correct targets. Remember, we're not doing targets in this video, but the 618 retracement would be like this, giving the trader more than a 3-to-1, but a pretty good safe stop, and that's what you're going to be looking for, stops under X. Anything else? I wanted to talk about this one real quick. Going to be the same thing. A firm advanced shark pattern filled, and we'll just do a little bit of other little bias stuff real quick. But obviously overbought, extremely overbought. I already got the ATR on there. I'll leave it. Extremely overbought. And I want to just talk about something else. See, this is already in flight of a trend. So starting point, initial high, outside return, new structure high, outside return, looking for highs up here to complete up here. So it's not, remember, we're talking about high probability. The only thing that makes this high probability in this case is the actual pattern, and the shark pattern is powerful. That's what you see. Remember, I talked about the volume and it slowing down and things like that. So you see he was flying up there, but now you see these little candles because it's slowing down. Why is that? Because these patterns mean something and most people can't even see them. So when they stop making money and and price action starts going against them, a lot of times they don't even know that price action got caught up in an advanced pattern. But there's one more thing on here that I did want to talk about before I talk about the stop on it. And that is, of course, a lot of these things come in combinations. Remember, so you always need to look left. You always need to look left. And then if you do look left, looking right here, looking at this price action here, there was actually another. So we have the shark up there, and the shark is actually combined with an overall larger bat that completes right in the same place, right? Think that's pretty cool. So just jump back and go find that guy too. So anyway, where were we at? We were on 4 hour. I'm gonna take him off. I don't need him. Because we just wanna hurry up and talk about the stop so we can get out of here so you guys can go practice it without me throwing all that other junk in there. But it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. So taking the price at D, taking the price at when it filled, okay, which is the fill is at 79.65. All right, and then the ATR of that candle. So going back to our data, our ATR is already here, and the ATR on that candle is 410. So taking 79.65 plus 410. So 79.65 plus 410 says to put it at 83.75. So take the line. Oops, no, that's okay. Take the line and put put in, what was our number? 83.75, and put in 83.75, and that's where it's going to tell us to put our stop. Nice and strong, good stop. Okay. And then if we did get short here at 79.41, I'm going to grab the long short tool. I'm going to grab the short tool, short position in this case, and say that if we entered right there, now, see how TradingView just gave it a 1-to-1? Like I said, it'll give you a stop, but that's not what you want. You really want it to be based off of something. So we're going to make it based off of ATR, the last 7 candles. And this would have been filled. Let it go a little bit more. Not quite enough for my entry. And that's how it would look. And it is giving more than a 2-to-1. So remember, our job as traders are to be in as many of these 2-to-1s as we can, and to let them get to 2. Let them get to target 2, if not lower than that. And to be honest with you guys, that's really the only way to win and be profitable in this game, is to continue doing this. Traders who you can be a little bit more conservative and say, I'm only willing to go 1-to-1. But if you're going to do 1-to-1, you need to make sure that you manage that thing, that when you get to target 1, you're out of there. If you're just a 1-to-1 trader, when you get to target 1, you need to get out of there, or you need to really have it down where you're selling half of your shares if you're in stocks, or you're cutting half of your lot size if you are in Forex. So I hope you guys got all of that. Really didn't write it out on this one, but for the rest of it, hopefully this didn't take us too long. Well, we covered that. On an example like this, you don't want to be trying to do like a 113 or anything like that. It's just not gonna make sense. The other thing that's not gonna make sense is our 127 inversion entry of C to X to know where D was, and you see it works perfect. Another thing that some traders might want to do is they might want to try to get slick and just do something like try to put on 1618. But look how high 1618 is. See, so that's why the ATR in this case is going to be the best one. Now it's bringing you back to 1-to-1, and that's not necessary. You don't want to experience that type of drawdown if it's not necessary. That's the ATR-based stop in most cases is going to be more than enough. So leave your questions and comments. I'll try to come back around and answer them as I've been doing on the rest of my videos. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, when you come to the channel, the best place to go on this channel is the Harmonic Trading Academy playlist. That's where all the education like this is being placed. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope it brings value to the community, and I hope it answers your questions on where to place your stop loss. The answer, in my opinion, is going to be really get used to using the ATR-based stop loss. Until then, you guys take care of yourselves in the market, and I'll see you on the next video.